The attic smelled of cedar and dust, the kind of scent that clings to sweaters and quiet memories. Afternoon light fell in a pale square on the floor. Anna moved carefully through boxes she had labeled in neat pencil: curtains, ornaments, dad's tackle. Her mother had been gone 3 months. The house still held her habits, teacups stacked just so, the kitchen radio set to old songs, a grocery list under a strawberry magnet. She had saved the attic for last. People said attics were dangerous for grieving hearts. Still, she kept going until she found a flat cookie tin. Inside, buttons, a ring of keys, postcards that said "Wish you were here." Beneath them, wrapped in a handkerchief, lay a single envelope the color of old cream. The postmark was sharp, as if time itself had signed it, July 12, 1944. The address was written in careful loops: Miss Evelyn May. Anna's breath caught. Evelyn was her mother's maiden name, the one she left behind when she became a wife, then a mother. The flap was still sealed. In the top corner, in faint pencil, someone had written, "For you." She turned the envelope over in the sunlight. Why had her mother saved this and never opened it? Why tuck it away with buttons and postcards? The attic seemed to hold its breath. There was no one left to ask. Anna laid the envelope on a folded tea towel and eased the flap open. The glue released with a soft surrender. Inside was a single-lined page, ink faded to the color of tea. The handwriting slanted neatly, school-taught, steady. Evelyn, it began. Not dear, not my, just her name, as if saying it already carried tenderness. If this reaches you, please know I am well as a man can be when the world is loud. We landed farther than we expected. They say it is Italy. The heat sits on your neck and the sky looks like a bowl you could drink. I keep your picture in my shirt pocket. The corners have gone soft. Anna sat on the floor and held the paper at the margins. The room seemed to tilt toward the letter. I keep a promise in my pocket too, the letter went on. By the river, you remember. If I come home, we'll plant lilacs along your mother's fence. A hedge so fat the bees forget to be angry. I told you I'd be home by July. If I can't, I'll write, and you'll wait under the sycamore by the station. The pen had slipped once and corrected itself. The voice on the page was plain, humbled, careful. I won't make large promises when I am little before God, he wrote. But I will write again when we move. And I will come home and plant those lilacs. I won't be late if there's any say in it. At the bottom, the ink faded mid-thought. If this finds you first, meet me under the old. The sentence stopped there. No last word. Anna looked again at the postmark, July 12, 1944, and whispered, Evelyn, tasting her mother's first name like a song from someone else's youth. She folded the page along its tired crease and set it beside the envelope. Her hands trembled, not with fear, but with the weight of holding a life she hadn't known was there. Downstairs, a clock chimed. In a photo album with a broken spine she found her mother at 18, eyes bright and steady. Another photo, a young man beside her, sleeves rolled, a firm mouth, hand almost touching hers. On the back, E and J, Spring 43. She put the kettle on. The sound of water warming was a kind of courage. She did not yet know what the letter would change. She only knew that something gentle had begun to move inside her, like a door taking its first breath before opening. She didn't know that inside that envelope, a lifetime of love waited to be discovered. At the kitchen table, steam curled from her cup. Afternoon hush lay on the room the way it had when she was small and chores were done. She read the letter again, slower. The writer's voice emerged, a soldier, yes, but also a farm boy who noticed kitchens and trees. He liked small, true things in a world turned upside down. He had a friend named Tom who spoke like a philosopher when the sky growled. He kept promises where he could reach them, pocket close. I dream of your kitchen, he'd written, how morning light finds the sugar bowl. He wrote about the hedge of lilacs as if it were a map home. He did not reach for grand words. He reminded himself to be humble, little before God. And then the promise again, I will come home and plant those lilacs. Her finger paused over the unfinished line. If this finds you first, meet me under the old sycamore, she filled in. Everyone in town called that tree the Old One, the wide-armed guardian near the station. Why stop mid-sentence? A shout? A truck backfiring? A command to move? Life often interrupts the truest lines. Anna pulled another thin book from a lower shelf, a cloth album of clipped notices. Near the back, a brown square from September 1944, local man missing in action. 5 names. One of them, James Whitford, 20, son of Ruth and Benjamin, clerk at the feed store. The tiny photo held the same steady eyes as the young man beside her mother in the fairground picture. Jay had a last name now. 2 pages later, a wedding notice from 1947, Evelyn May to Robert Parker, ceremony at St. Luke's. Lilacs in the bouquet. Lilacs again. Her father, Robert, had been a gentleman with a careful hand and a quiet whistle. Her mother had loved him well, and he her. This was not a story of love gone wrong. It was a story of love changing shape to survive. Anna looked through the window to the fence line. There, shoulder to shoulder, grew the lilacs she'd taken for granted. In May, they turned the air sweet. She had called them pretty. Now they felt like a conversation carried on each spring. Evening rain arrived soft as a hand on a shoulder. In the lamplight, she noticed a faint sketch at the bottom of the letter, 3 little leaves and a cone of tiny blossoms. A lilac head, drawn in a place where war could not reach. She smiled without meaning to, and grief made room for the smile. At the bottom of the page, one sentence was left unfinished. Sometimes life leaves us that way too. By mid-morning the next day, the station was quiet. A freight had passed and left a humming in the rails. Across the gravel, the old sycamore rose like something built to outlast departures. Clean leaves shone after the rain. Under its shade, Anna tried to see her mother at 20, a simple dress, borrowed cardigan, shoes that pinched a little. Maybe a book she didn't read. Maybe counting the minutes between trains. She tried to see James, dust, olive trees, heat like a hand on the neck. A boy with a promise he kept repeating so it wouldn't blow away. There is a private forgiveness that happens when you stand where someone once stood. It is small, like breathing the same air and bowing to it. With her palm on the bark, something eased in Anna's chest. Anna Parker, a voice called. Mrs. Duffy, the town's keeper of stories, crossed the path with a paper-wrapped loaf. For your tea, she said, then looked past Anna at the tree. Your mother was a good one. Quiet, but good. Did you know her back then? Anna asked. We all knew each other during the war, Mrs. Duffy said. There was a James Whitford. Good as the day is long. He and your mother kept decent company. Then he went missing. No one knew for sure. Your mother waited a while. Then life knocked, like it does, and she opened the door it offered. Did she ever talk about him? Not to me, Mrs. Duffy said gently. She kept her sadness neat, the way some keep their drawers. But one May I saw her at my fence, eyes closed, breathing in the lilacs. I thought, that girl knows the language of flowers. On the drive home, fields shone with that just rinsed color. Understanding can ache and brighten at the same time. Back in the kitchen, Anna laid the letter in a warm square of sun and wrote a small card as if speaking to the young woman in the photo. Evelyn, I found your letter today. I thought I knew your life, but I'd missed a chapter with lilacs in it. I see you by the station, waiting as long as you could. Then I see you turn, not away from love, but toward a different door it used to enter. No one clapped for that courage. I am clapping now. She tucked the card under the envelope. That afternoon she stood by the hedge, even out of bloom, and listened to the leaves whisper. Look at you, she told them, smiling. You kept a promise too. That night she dreamed of a kitchen that was hers and not hers. A young man leaned in the doorway, neither ghost nor stranger. He smiled, small and sure. Thank you, he said. She woke with tears and a late calm resting in her chest. She folded the letter back, her heart fuller and lighter, than it had been in years. In the weeks that followed, the house shifted from sorrow to kept promises. Anna moved slowly, letting rooms breathe. She found a small tin of seeds, of course her mother had saved seeds, and pressed them into warm dirt along the fence. Soil left crescents under her nails. She didn't mind. Neighbors arrived with casseroles and little stories. She taught me to baste a roast without drying it. She showed me how to hide a hem. The stories were ordinary. That felt right. Love often lives in ordinary corners. On a warm evening, Anna carried a jar of lilacs to the cemetery and set it beside the stone that read Evelyn May Parker. "I opened your letter," she whispered. She waited for guilt. None came. "You carried so much quietly," she said. "No medals for it. But I see the girl who waited, the woman who planted, the mother who kept going." Back home, a train's long note folded through the night, memory and forward motion in the same breath. She sat at the kitchen table, the letter refolded, its paper sighing like a small sail turning toward wind. She thought about promises and how they arrive, on time, late, in disguise, or not at all. Sometimes a promise keeps its word by changing its shape. A boy's vow to return became a hedge that hummed each spring. A young woman's vow to wait became a steady marriage and Sunday casseroles. A daughter's quiet vow to understand became a letter read aloud in an empty room, where tender things feel safe. She didn't try to summarize. She let the feelings sit beside her like old friends comfortable with silence. Outside, the lilac leaves rustled. Inside, the sugar bowl caught the light the way the letter said it would. Maybe some love stories never end, they simply wait to be found again. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more forgotten letters and timeless memories. Have you ever found something from the past that changed how you saw life? Share your story in the comments. Your words might comfort someone else. Thank you for listening with such a kind heart. Please like the video, subscribe, and until we meet again.